So yeah, for Game 7 of Clippers Nuggets, it was just another James Harden performance. And over the years now, I think people slowly are starting to realize that James Harden isn't that guy when it comes to, these high-stake playoff games. I mean, he put up great counting stats in the entire series. Like, he averaged 19, 5, and 9 on 44% shooting, 36% from 3, 82% from the line. And those entirely aren't bad stats. I mean, maybe you want the field goal percentage to be higher, but it's just when it matters the most, James Harden just can't get it done. And we've seen that pattern throughout his career. Like, starting off game 1 with the huge game, game 6 you had a huge game, and he did the similar thing with Philly a couple years ago in 23 against the Celtics. He had 45 in game 1 when Embiid was out. Then he had 42 in the game winner in game 6 to force it game 7, and then he was crapped to bed in game 7. And it's kind of a trend with James Harden, but I think as we get older and over the years now, his playoff performances just get worse. Obviously due to age, because he's just not the same guy he used to be. He relies more on his playmaking rather than his scoring ability now. Because back then in Game 7s, let's take it back to 2018. So yeah, back in 2018, James Harden had 32, 6, and 6 on 41% shooting and 2 of 13 from 3. And that game in general is just very nuanced because the Rockets missed 27 straight missed threes, and if they hit probably 2 or 3 of them, they would probably be NBA champs, and we wouldn't be having this conversation about James Harden right now. But that's the thing with James Harden's career. It's pretty nuanced because he's faced the Warriors for it started in 2015, ended around 2019. So for a 4-year span, James Harden was playing against a super stacked Warriors team, and they always stopped his way of getting to the finals. And I think this is just the player James Harden is. He doesn't have that ability in him to step it up when it matters the most. He's a great regular season player, would get you to the playoffs, is a great floor raiser, but in general, he's just not the guy that you go to for a huge game to get you a win. And Kawhi, he's not the same player that he used to be. He did finish the series off healthy, and he averaged 26 a game on great shooting. I think he shot over 50% from the field for the entire series. But James Harden and Kawhi as a duo, Kawhi, he's very mellow and quiet. I notice he leads more by example rather than being vocal. So when you have two guys that don't really lead per se, like being vocal or whatever, that's going to cause an issue, and that's what we've seen what happened with the Clippers in Game 7. Once Denver made their little run or whatever, there was nobody on the court or in the timeouts to be like, hey guys, like, let's calm things down, let's regroup, and then let's go get this win. They don't have any guys on the team. So like these guys like Kevin Durant, James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, great players, but you need someone that's a little more vocal to be your main guy. And that's what we noticed with a lot of these players, besides Kawhi, because Kawhi, in the past, before all the injuries, shown the ability to win. He won the ring for Toronto back in 2019. But guys like Harden or Durant, we've always seen them take a step back because they're not really the most vocal people, being the primary leader of a team. But yeah, not really much to talk about James Harden. It's just a typical James Harden performance. This is kind of what we expect. I was rooting for the Clippers to win, because James Harden is one of my favorite players. I hated to see the Nuggets and the Clippers go at it in the first round because I love Russell Westbrook. I love James Harden. But, I'm glad to see Russ advance and, get his get back against the Clippers. So, I'm happy for that. But let me know in the comments what y'all think about James Harden. I'm pretty sure everyone has a pretty similar opinion about him. But, yeah.